Hey everybody, this is Preezy. Check out my website at www.listenuplistening5687.com. That's www.listenuplistening5687.com. You ready to chit chat and all of that? You ready to vent, let it out? Well, come on now. Come on, collab with Preezy. Come on and be on Listen Up, Listen In as a guest. Contact me at 718-354-8405. 718-354-8405. You can also contact me by email, listenuplistening5687@gmail.com. One more time, listenuplistening5687@gmail.com. Let's get it. Hey everybody, welcome to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm your host, Preezy. I'm so happy you're here. It's Friday. Yes, it is. It's Friday. All praises to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. And guess what? You woke up this morning, so give yourself a round of applause. You know how we do. Yes. You woke up this morning. Yes. Looking beautiful, shining bright. But I got a special guest coming on the show today, so you gotta stay tuned. Yes, we're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna learn a lot. So get ready to listen up, listen in. Let's get it.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm your host, Preezy. Now before I start today's episode, I would love for you guys and gals to follow me on social media. Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistening5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast. Now let's get back to Listen Up, Listen In. Hey everybody, welcome back to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Like I said today, I have a special guest. She is a professional life coach. She has been a professional certified life coach since 2021, helping clients throughout the nation, assisting and reaching their personal and professional goals. She says the essence of her work is to facilitate self-growth by helping them to identify the core challenges and setbacks in their lives so that they can overcome them with confidence. She specializes in creating personalized plans and providing tools to guide people forward and achieve their desired goals. Without further ado, let's give a round of applause to Coach Coleman. How you doing, Coach Coleman?
I'm doing good on this great day.
Yes, it is. Yes, and I always like to ask my guests, how was your day today?
Today's been great. It's been going good. You know, it's another day above ground.
That's right. Now, I done read all about you and your wonderful achievements, but my audience don't know. Now, please tell my audience, who is Coach Coleman?
Coach Coleman is myself. I am a life coach. I am a social worker at heart. I have my master's degree in social work, a bachelor's in psychology. I've been in the field of social work for over 5 years. It's been installed in me before I even became a social worker. And now that I have the degree and the education and the experience, that is who Coach Coleman is.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome. So, social working. Tell me about that. Who do you social work? Is it young children? Is it the teenagers? Is it adults?
It is everyone. Social work there's no restraints. I work with youth, adolescents from 13 and up, young adults, elders, males, females, all races. There's no limit.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I know social work is a very tough field. You can get so much on your plate. What's the hardest? What's the hardest group? Or I should say the most challenging group between the youth and the elders and so forth?
The most challenging group, I would say, are the young adults. Mm-hmm. That stage of your young 20s where you're learning the world when you think you already know. So they tend to have struggles of identifying themselves. Who am I? What is my purpose? Which way do I go? And sometimes they kind of think they already know, so they're not as opening. Versus someone in their 30s. They're like, hey, I know wrong from right. I messed up here. I want to go there. They kind of have a more sense of where they want to go. They just don't know how about to go or get there. And with your adolescents, they're looking for someone to look up to.
Right.
They're looking for someone to relate to. Who can I trust with all of this information? So they're pretty easy for me to speak with, gravitate towards, and help. But that's my niche. I specialize in adolescents and young adults.
Wow, that's awesome. Have you ever encountered the adolescents that maybe have been in group homes or the system? Or
yes,
type of shelter?
That is my specialty. I take pride in helping those because not that they need the help the most, but they are the ones who have the less support, who actually need that extra push from others, especially when they're in that situation, when they become hopeless. And we want to try to prevent being hopelessness and prevent them from refraining or turning to drugs or alcohol. We want to try to prevent those things. So that's why I enjoy working with those individuals.
That's awesome. Are the parents involved? Are some of the parents involved?
Yes. I strongly believe in a family dynamic. Yes. Because, okay, for example, I can work with the adolescents all day, every day. But guess where they're going back to? That home environment. So everything that I've just said may take a step back or two because now they're in their surrounding and the reality, their environment is home with the parents. So yes, the parents' involvement is critical to have that conversation with the parents. And if the parents are not involved, then we want to try to see who is that adult figure that is around this adolescent most of the time, because that's where they're getting this knowledge, they're getting this information. And believe it or not, but that adult who's involved in that child's life can make them or break them. Their emotions and spiritually, their encouragement, adults can make or break a child, no matter how stubborn a child may seem or how negative a child may seem. Adults do take quite a few advantages when it comes to adolescence.
Because, believe it or not, it's learned behavior. Am I right?
Yes, you are correct.
Because a child seeing you doing negative things, they're going to just say, well, this must be the right thing to do.
Correct.
So,
you are correct.
So while you're teaching the child, you're also encouraging and giving lessons to the parent or the guardian that's involved in that child's life.
Correct. That's just like you're in a relationship and the husband, he's gaining, he's learning, he's growing, and the wife is not. You're not balanced, or vice versa. The wife is learning, she's growing, and she's gaining interest in different things, and the husband is not. You're kind of unbalanced. So that's the same thing with adolescents. They're learning, they're growing, they're being more positive, and the parents are not. It's going to outweigh somewhere. So we kind of want to balance it out. And that's why I really believe strongly in a family dynamic. You can't help one without helping the other.
Exactly. I wanted to ask you, how are the success stories when it comes to coaching? Because a lot of people feel like, I don't need no coach. I don't need this therapy. I don't need that. I'm good. What are the success stories with that, as far as,
Many. For me, I can only speak from my experience. For me, many success stories when it comes to adolescents. I've I've mentored all of the children in this one household. It was a single parent, and she had 9 children.
Wow.
And they were back to back. The oldest was 18. The next set were twins who were 16, and they were kind of back to back, 2 years apart. And I was able to assist them and guide them because she was a single parent. Although she was in their lives, she loved them, but she had to work in order to provide for them. So she could not be there all the time. She could not teach those life skills all the time. So those, like, in the success story from that, the eldest child, she graduated high school with her CNA, and she's now going to school to be an RN. The twins, they were in and out fighting. They were a rough pack. And by the time they graduated high school, they were also battling mental illness, diagnosed with some mental illness. But they overcame all of that, and one went to school. She's going to school to do hair and nails. The other, she's working her job as a security officer, and they're all excelling. And when it comes to the parent, she then was able to balance out a few things more. She started to learn, hey, I do need to be a little more involved in my child's life. I thought they weren't going to be as successful, but now that they are successful, I need to come to their awards. I need to celebrate them when they have A on a roll. I need to celebrate this because she didn't think they would be in that place just because she wasn't around that much. She had a lot on her plate, but being in the program, I was able to fill in that gap. I like to refer to filling in that gap because that's all that's needed. And for those who it's not involving adolescents, it's not involving children, it's just for self. With those success stories, it's pretty much the same. Just helping identifying your strength and your weakness. Identifying how can we turn these negative thoughts into positive thoughts. And just training ourselves until we reach that better place. I'm a strong believer in I don't want you to be my client for a lifetime. Because if you're my client for a lifetime, we're not working on anything. You're in the same spot. So I like to push you to do better. Learn the skills, the techniques so that you can move forward. And maybe you can teach someone else. And that's been working for me, and that's my success rate.
Oh, that's awesome. That is an awesome story. Oh my goodness. Now, wow, that's really inspirational. The elders, how do you help the elderly people? Because we know sometimes the elderly people are just not treated right. They just, and it's terrible. So where do you come in when it comes to the elderly people?
When the elderly, it's just finding those resources to point them in the right direction, whether it's housing, whether it's connecting them with disability, social security, just to get them on the right path, reaching out just helping them communicate with their grandchildren or their children because of the age gap. Sometimes the elderly speak, it seems as if they speak a different language than the other generation, and just being that communicator in between to explain this is what he's trying to say. I believe you're not comprehending, or hey, this is what she is trying to say. Just being that middle piece is simple. It's as simply helps.
Because I know, as you know, they get older, Alzheimer's and dementia can really be a challenge. So, do you get help along with that as far as nursing staff or things like that, or do they train y'all? Do they train you to know what to do when it comes to that type of ailment?
When it comes to that type of element, it involves the family a lot. And it goes back to the resources again to see what the family wants to do. Do you want this person still in the home with dementia? Or should we look for outside sources? Should they go to an assisted living? Should they go into a home? Do you want them in a nursing home? Do we have insurance that will cover this long-term care? And if not, how can we gain the money from different family members to support this individual? Are they going to the doctor? Are they being treated correctly with this dementia? And as a social worker, I am also a mandated reporter, let's not forget. So we can reach out to APS if needed, because APS is not always bad. We always think APS or DCF or CPS is bad. It's not always bad because they have all of the resources that we need.
Now, those agencies you just mentioned, what are they?
APS is an adult resources. Typically, you'll call them if you think someone is being abused, or if you just generally need help. They assist with food stamps. They assist with housing. They assist with many things. But most people have a negative connotation about them because a lot of people use them just to call for abuse. But you can use them for other things other than reporting abuse. And the same with CPS. It's just for children, reaching out for children. And most people call them to report children who are being abused. But the same thing for them. You can call them and say, hey, this family needs help. They need food security. And CPS can help provide food. They can help with food stamps, food assistance, cash assistance. They can help in many ways, not only to report abuse.
I know COVID has really did a major toll on our lives, and domestic violence went up, suicide, even child abuse. Child abuse cases have went up. How's that affected you as being a life coach?
It has affected a lot of my clients, a lot of my families. I've had clients in Texas, Alabama, and Chicago, where we have met virtually to discuss anxiety, just fear of being in large crowds. Because before COVID, we were able to go out, mingle. Now that COVID is here, children are seeming not to know how to deal with large crowds. And they begin to build this anxiety, panic attacks, and some even began to build depression from being in the home for so long, to feeling isolated. So I have seen numbers increase on my end for that. And what I do is meet with them virtually. We go over different exercises, different techniques. I send over worksheets that we'll do together, and we meet weekly to see the growth. Where we started, where are we now, and where are we going?
Wow, that's awesome. So, I know you mentioned some of your courses. I know I looked on your website. You have a lot of teaching courses. Can you tell me some of them, please?
Yes. Some of my teaching courses is for individuals who are interested in becoming a travel social worker. I'm also a travel social worker as well, where you travel and work in hospitals. You can work in the schools. You can work in prisons. It's a broad field. So I teach courses to just give information. What is a travel social worker? What can you do with it? And how can you reach the point of becoming a travel social worker? Also, information about social work in general. Anyone who's interested in being a social worker. What are some great schools? How can I become involved? What are some certificates or certifications to get to grow as a social worker? Also, we have courses about human trafficking. What is human trafficking? How can I identify it? And how can I prevent it? There's several courses that I offer.
Wow, it sounds like you have your hands full, Coach Coleman. And you travel?
Yes.
Wow, that must be an experience.
It is. I love life.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, I know you mentioned family earlier. And before I even get into that, I just recently did an episode on anxiety. Anxiety is not a joke. And I think that everybody in the world has experienced some type of anxiety in their lives, whether they want to admit it or not. But anxiety can really, really take you to a place that you never knew about. So yes. I know you probably have some serious stories about people who suffer from anxiety.
Yes. There's different levels to it. As you mentioned, some minor, some can be very severe. Anxiety from driving, from large crowds, anxiety from just feeling overwhelmed. It can be anything depending on the person.
And I like I mentioned before, I know you discussed about family. Are you a life coach for family members too, and couples?
Yes. Yes, I have coached a few couples in the past, a lot of families, because once again, I believe in not only helping one, but helping the other. And for my rates, I do not charge extra if it does become a family session, because that family session is still helping that one person.
Right. And how is it dealing with couples? How challenging is that? Because it's he say, she say, she say, he say. So that's got to be really challenging.
It can be challenging, but as a successful life coach, you have to learn how to be an active listener.
Yes.
And allow them to have the he say, she say, and not take sides. Do not be biased. Speak the truth. That way it can guide them in the right direction.
Right. Why do you think some people don't want to coach? Why do you think they feel like I don't need no coach?
Oh, I say it all the time. I feel like people say they don't need a life coach or they don't want a life coach because I can coach myself. I have friends. I talk to people. I don't trust them. I don't need to give my money to them. The purpose of a life coach and the difference is because one is professionalism. If you have the correct life coach, being professional, and all your information should be confidential. Meaning what's spoken between us should stay between us. It should be a written agreement. And the difference between a life coach and talking to a friend is your friend may go tell another friend who told someone else. As a life coach, I don't know any of your friends. I don't know any of your family members. I don't have a reason to be biased, and I can't spread your information. We have a written contract to be professional and confidential.
Absolutely. Great. Yes, that is true. I think a lot of people, they don't trust people, so they try to, think they could work it out or keep things to themselves. But I think everybody in this entire world needs someone to talk to besides your friends or your family.
Correct.
Somebody that knows, like you said, knows nothing about you, can't judge you, but you could just sit and tell everything without them saying the same old things that your family or friends would say. So yeah, I definitely encourage that. Now we know everybody needs self-care, And I always tell everybody on my podcast, you have to love yourself first, because you can't love anything or anyone unless you love yourself first. So everybody needs to know about self-care, because people don't love themselves. So what advice can you give to someone who's just lost, that doesn't see themselves at a higher standard, something that everybody should feel? Kings and queens, you should all feel that type of way. What advice can you give that person out there that's lost?
Someone that feels lost or is lost, I would say, think about the last time you was truly happy. I mean, you were just jolly, you're happy, things seem to have been going good. And then think about who was in your life, who was surrounding you at that time. And think about, were they a negative person? Were they a positive person? What around you made you always seem so happy? And try to find your way to get back to that place, no matter if it takes you a year, 2 years, 3 years. Take baby steps to see, how can I get back to my happy place, to myself.
That happy place. Yes, indeed. And we know mental health has been a big problem and is a big problem in the world today. And you having your bachelor's in psychology, how challenging is it to deal with those that have mental issues?
It's not that challenging once everyone in the room identifies there is a problem. And then the second step is identifying, what are the triggers? What's going to trigger you today? And how can I avoid triggering you? And if I do trigger you, how can we move through the motions together? Because someone with mental health is very emotional, whether that emotion is anger, sadness, or extremely happy, because if you're bipolar, you may be extremely happy. So what are we going to do to come back to normalize once I trigger you?
Right. And working and dealing with life, we know that the work-life balance is hard, is a challenge for so many. They're working, they have children, they have their careers, they have their marriage, they barely have time for themselves. How can they, what can they do to have a work-life balance? How can they make it work? How can they overcome that challenge?
It's different for everybody, because if you're married, first of all, what are your love language? Is your marriage love language being more family oriented, being around each other, or is your love language more of buying gifts? What is your love language? Because that's what you need to focus on for your marriage, to balance that part out. When it comes to family, children, are your children very active in sports and extra activities? Are they always in a home? Because then to balance out, maybe I need to show up to one game or two. Negotiate how are we going to work out this schedule. If they're not involved in sports, okay, so should we do more dinners at home so that we have that family time? It depends on each person, what's involved, to see what standards we need to hold high, what's more important and what's not, to balance it out.
Right. Now, you ever had a couple that just says, you know what, I don't, or just one person that just says, you know what, you do it, I don't want to do it. Or, you have one person that's showing up and the other mate that's not. How does that work? Because you'll have one mate may say, well, you go to the coaching, you go get the therapy, I don't want it. And then you have that mate that comes to their therapy and stuff like that. How does that work when one person is giving their 100 and the other person isn't?
You know what? I've had that in the past, and I say that's okay because you come to coaching first. You get the healing and the help that you need first if your mate is not ready, because you cannot force that on anyone. And if you do, it won't work. For life coaching, therapy, any type of help, the person first has to want it. If you don't want it, it's not going to work.
Wow.
So you get the healing, you get the coaching that you want and that you need. When the other person is ready, they'll come around. And if they don't come around, that's a discussion you two need to have to see, where are you two going? How are you two going to move forward with one is healing and one is not?
So tell me, what made you get into this? What made you say one day, you know what, I want to be a life coach. I want to help people out. I want to help the world. I want to make a change and help people that need it.
So I come from a very small town. So my morals and values were installed in me at a very young age. I've always had those leadership roles or been around positive people, positive things. Within, I want to say middle school, I knew, hey, I want to be a psychologist. Then I was like, I don't want to write prescription. So by high school, I was like, okay, I can go to school for social work. I can do this because I'm already helping people. I'm already talking to people. And by the time I was in college, it was no longer I want to do this. It was more so of, this is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do. Because I've been doing this for so long and I've never steered left, never steered right. I kept moving forward. I knew what I wanted to do. Because you always hear those stories, oh, I don't know, I tried this, I tried that. I never tried different things. This has been my goal from the beginning.
Nice. That's excellent. Excellent. So your organization, Better You Solutions.
Yes.
I love that. Tell me and my audience about Better You Solutions.
Better You Solutions. It is created just for that. Because we're going to make a better you. We're going to solve the solutions. Whether the better you is waking up and putting on nice clothes. Whether the better you is just getting out of the bed today. Whether the better you is, I'm going to get me a house. I'm going to make sure I boss up, level up. Or whether the better you is just being positive, smiling, saying, hey, every day. Whatever the better you looks like, that's the solution that we're aiming for. And that's how we came up with the Better You Solutions logo, the name of the company, because that's really what we're aiming for.
Nice. Now, your team, there's different things that they do, right? Like each person has their own job or task to take care of the individuals that need help and so forth. Because I see you have the life coaching and you a guest speaker. You definitely travel. How often do you travel? Is it like 2-3 times a week? I mean, wow.
I travel from state to state every 3 months. Like I'm originally from Florida. Okay. I'm currently in California. So I travel every 3 months from state to state. However, if I'm booked in a different area, I believe I'm booked in New York in 4 months.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'll be in New York in 4 months. So I'm booked for different engagements, different events to host as a speaker or to come and do a pop-up shop because I do sell journals, candles, and home scents, sprays, aromas. I believe in aromatherapy. That's the candles are lavender for relaxing the chemicals in our brain. Yes, ma'am. I travel a lot for different events. Anyone who wants to book.
Nice. Yeah, I see that you sell self-care journals, candles, house fragrances, and self-care kits. Tell me just a little bit, because I don't want you to give all the information out, about the self-care kits. What's that basically about?
Yes, the self-care kit, in case you didn't want to purchase each item separately, in the kit you will have the journal, the candle, a lighter. You will also have the aromatherapy sprays, the house sprays, and we'll have a nice pen with self-care, and we'll throw in a little shirt.
Oh, that's awesome. I see you online. You did a little trick-or-treating thing. Was that yesterday?
Yes, because I also have a youth mentoring program. And with that youth mentor program, we give back to the community, my home community, once a month. This month we focused on breast cancer, domestic violence,
Wow.
and Halloween, of course. So at the Trick or Trunk, we had a huge DJ, music, free food, free candy, and we had the sheriff department to come out, talk about avoiding domestic violence, and we also had a YouTube specialist come out to talk about breast cancer. So yes, we try to give back to the youth as well in the community, and with that youth, that's how I'm mentoring adolescents, because that's also virtually. But we do host events in the community where I'm from because they have no resources. So most of the funds from the products of the self-care journal, the candle, and the house sprays, the proceeds go back to the youth organization.
Wow, that's awesome. So, what advice can you give to someone who needs to go digging for their goals?
Anyone who needs to go digging for their goals, identify what is the goal. I mean, if it's a 5-year, 10-year plan, 1-year plan, what is the goal? And you think about how you're going to get there. And when you're thinking about how you're going to get there, include your strengths, your weakness, what obstacles may come about, what competition is out there, because your competition is going to help shape you where you need to go. And when the obstacles occur, you're not frightened, you're not determined, because you've already thought about, hey, this might happen. So when you're reaching for your goals, think about all of that and you keep pushing. And always remember, there's going to be a lot of people who doubt you. There's going to be a lot of people who say, oh, don't do it, that's crazy. But you keep going because that's your goal. No one's going to know your vision or see what you can see. Only you can see your vision and keep pushing through.
That's awesome. I saw that, excuse me, you have something on your website by William James, and it says, act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. I saw that. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I like that.
Yes.
That is awesome. And you go live sometime on Zoom?
Yes. Every now and then I have free events. I go live on Zoom, or either donate $1, just $1, and you can attend a Zoom meeting. If it's one person in that Zoom meeting, guess what? You just got your free one-on-one. And if it's, so I do those every now and then. I'm trying to do them once a month, and just giving back, pretty much giving my time, my effort, and we go from there.
Breaking them boundaries together, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, now tell my audience, where can they find you?
They can find me on my website, betteryouthsolutions.org, and also on social media, on Instagram, Coach Coleman, .0, also on Facebook at Better You Solutions. And all of my social media handles you can find on the website, which is betteryouthsolutions.org.
Okay, yes, I see your website, Better You Solutions, Instagram, Facebook. You're also on YouTube, right?
Yes, and also on YouTube.
And Amazon link?
And Amazon link for the self-care journals is there as well.
Awesome. Yes, y'all gotta get that self-care kit, y'all. Gotta get those self-care journals. You need it. Okay, so what can you leave my audience with? Give us some, Coach Coleman, give us a inspirational, positive closing. Because we all need it. I think, like I said before, everybody needs some type of coaching or some type of therapy. We're living in a world that it goes from A to B to C all day long in our minds. I mean, we go through the entire alphabet. 1 minute everything is going good, the next minute something's going bad. Whether it's the kids, your relationship, your home, your workplace, and everybody needs some type of help. And for those out there that may be afraid to seek the help, Coach Coleman gonna tell you why you should. You should go seek help. So this is where you come in, Coach Coleman. Please give us some inspirational words to help the world.
All right. The world. Here we go. No, but seriously, you all should definitely seek some type of help, even if it's not professional with a therapist. That's why you can reach out to a life coach where it's more flexible. We don't have to go anywhere that you don't want to take it. We're only going to go where you want to take it, at least with myself. I can't speak for all life coaches, but I can speak for myself and how I delegate myself to individuals who are my clients. I do allow you to text me, and you are allowed to write me on email if it's on an emergency. We can have those quick 15-minute calls, those breakthrough, hey, I'm going through something, I just need somebody to talk to. That's fine. Let's talk. I always try to make time, especially if it's a crisis, if it's an emergency. Let's talk it through until you come down to call for some serious help if needed. That's the type of environment I try to set with my clients so that you do feel safe, you do feel comfortable, and you are allowed to express yourself, like I said, whether it's anger, whether you're sad, or whether you're extremely happy. If it's good news and you want to share it in a positive environment, Coach Coleman, let's be positive. Let's salute you and congratulate you, because it's too many people always hating on you, right? That's not what I'm here for. Let's lift each other up. Let's lift you up to that next level. What does that next level look like? Let's boss up. Let's bring out the boss in you, because everybody is here for a reason. Everybody has a purpose. Let's identify it.
Let's identify it. Yes, indeed. That's the key, identifying it. Because you may say to yourself, I don't have nothing going for myself. That's because it's there. You just don't know it. Sometimes you need that little pinch yes, you do. You got all these abilities and qualities and talents to do things, and you just got to get that motivation. And I think that's the key. We got to get motivated to pick ourselves up. And because it's too much of jealousy and people putting each other down today. We got to big each other up. Like, good for you, sis. Right on, brother. I hear that. We need that. And it doesn't matter what color you are. Everybody needs the motivation and that, hey, you did a good job today. Good for you. You know what I mean? So I always encourage that, especially when it comes to children. Children need to hear that, good job. I love you. What did you do today? So, and a lot of parents, their lives are so busy. I guess that's where mentoring comes in. If there's somebody out there that can help a youth or an elderly person, then
I'm here.
Yeah, Coach. Coach Coleman is here. I just want to thank you so much for being on my show. I want to thank you for your dedication and your mission to encourage individuals to become confident and creating positive life choices, as well as, using their voices and their talents and just to achieve the goals and building up things in their lives and having that potential to build up things in their lives. So we need more people like you, Coach Coleman.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you being on the show. I really do.
No, thank you for having me. And y'all don't be afraid. Reach out. Even if it's a question. There's no silly questions, no dumb questions. I don't care. Reach out.
Definitely. And I'm going to repeat it. BetterYouSolutions.org. Her email is Coleman@BetterYouSolutions.org. The website is www.betteryouSolutions.org. betteryouSolutions.org. She's on Instagram, Coach Coleman. She's on Facebook, Better You Solutions. She's on YouTube. And she's on Amazon link. Y'all go on out there and get that self-care kit now. Go on, get your self-care kit. Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. It was awesome. I had a great time with Coach Coleman. Great interview. Thanks again. And you know how we do. You know what I say. Live, laugh, love. Love yourself first. Always love yourself first, because you can't love anything or anyone unless you love yourself first. Stay healthy, stay focused. Always keep God first in your life, and squeeze and hold your family just a little bit tighter. Love you, mommy and daddy, forever. Peace.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.